Howdy folks, this is Chris. Thank you for tuning into my channel again. I am Toys. Make sure you hit that 4K option on your browser. Get this thing in all of its glory. This is going to be a review of the new Hot Toys Darth Maul Next DX. So this is the third DX now that they have put out since the DX14, which I believe was the very last one. So this would make the third release since. So if you're a fan of the prequels, this is a figure that you're probably going to want to get. It doesn't necessarily have to be the special edition, which is what this one is. This comes with the Sith speeder, and it's probably good to have. I mean, you're going to pay a little bit more money for it, but it's, in my opinion, it's probably worth getting for those who want to spend the extra bucks to get it. So we're going to do what I usually do. We'll go over the figure. Usually I don't go over packaging, you know, for the most part. I'll usually have the figure out next to the box, so you guys can usually see both together. But for the DXs, I do like the packaging because Hot Toys does put some effort into doing the exclusive edition boxes, and I generally like how they're packaged. It gives off a very, you know, kind of royal treatment, I guess we could say. You know, and various other companies are doing something similar now with certain figures, and some companies are actually doing it as a standard with some of their figures. Hot Toys generally goes out like this for their DX models, but I just wanted to show you kind of the outside of the box, and also show you the cover open too as well, just give you that overall dynamic and quality of how the figure looks, you know, when you pop this guy open. So let me cut away to that and show you what the packaging insert kind of looks like and the figure presentation from that standpoint, and we will keep on trucking forward. Once you open this guy up, this is how he looks essentially. You know, the outside carton is magnetic. The cover piece, you basically just unfold that from the right side, and you will see him essentially, you know, placed exactly like this. Only thing missing really is the bags over the heads. And I'm going to tell you right now, use some caution in taking the heads out, because those spikes do have a tendency to get caught on the inside of the foam a little bit, and you run the risk of possibly, you know, pulling one of them out. So just use some caution. You know, like I said, as you can see, you get two head sculpts with this character. You know, in DX fashion, you know, usually going to get two sculpts. You get this neat little plastic card too as well. Over on the other side, first I thought it was metal. I'm pretty sure it's not. I think it's just a harder kind of plastic, but it is a nice little touch that they give. You know, it's got a picture of Darth Maul on it. It says Darth Maul, and then on the back it says Hot Toys. You know, I think it says DX too as well on there. So it's a nice little addition too as well. So that's kind of your overall presentation of it. You know, other than that, let's kind of get into the figure. You know, we'll pan him around, we'll rotate him around. I'll show you both heads. Try to show you some different poses depending on how much time I actually have, and we'll just kind of play it by ear and see what we can cover. And I guess that's all you need to know for now. Let's move on. So as we get into the review, you know, this is the first look I want to show you guys. You know, you got two head sculpts out, so you guys kind of get to look at both a little bit while I ramble on about this figure. And so you do, as you see with this one, you do get the fanned out blades, you know, to make it look like he's kind of swinging them, which I always liked. The first time I believe we saw that was with Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker, that Hot Toys put out. I don't remember them ever putting those fan blades out prior to that. I believe he was the first one. I don't know if they did it afterwards. I would imagine they may have. I'm not really sure, actually, to tell you the truth. So this very well could be the second figure, because I don't recall them putting it out with the most recent Luke Skywalker release from episode 8. So I could be wrong. But either way. So I usually like to give a little bit of a history of this character too as well, you know, before, because some people watch these videos and they have no idea who these people are. They just kind of like watching figure reviews to watch some cool stuff. So for those of you folks who have no idea who the hell this guy is, again, his name is Darth Maul. You know, most of us were exposed to him in the first Star Wars film, Phantom Menace. And those of us who remember most of the film, love it or hate it, you know, he was one of the coolest characters in the Star Wars franchise. It would have been nice to see him utilized a little bit more. Those of us who follow, you know, other media in Star Wars had a chance to kind of follow that up on. But essentially, you know, when he was, you know, he went up against Obi-Wan, and Jin ultimately got defeated by Obi-Wan. couldn't best him. Obi-Wan defeated him, and if I remember correctly, essentially chopped his body in half. I think that was kind of how it worked. So we were all led to assume that he was essentially dead, from what I understand. But actually, what happened was he was actually able to survive, and from what I understand, I believe he was able to survive essentially based on using his hate. You know, he essentially feeded off that and was able to essentially keep himself alive. He was eventually found by someone, I forget who it was. The story gets kind of weird. Like he ends up like forming like apparently like spider legs from where his legs used to be. Like it was crazy. Not exactly probably how I wanted to see that character continued, but we at least got to see him in pretty damn good form in Phantom Menace, and those choreographed fight scenes between Darth Maul and Obi-Wan and Jin were absolutely incredible. He was a force to absolutely be reckoned with. And I believe, from what if I remember correctly, Darth Maul was essentially trained by his master, which would have been Darth Sidious. And he was essentially supposed to be an assassin that was going after the Queen Amidala, I believe, at that point. So that's kind of a little brief history of the character. I'm not going to get into a whole bunch of other shit because it'll just, I could go on. You can go on forever talking about this stuff, man. So hopefully, while I've been rambling about the character, giving you guys a brief little history, you've been looking at the figure, kind of soaking in that head sculpt. It's going to be difficult to kind of show you a whole bunch of different looks with this figure because it would take me an hour with everything that you get. So overall, I'm going to show you this look. I'm going to put him on the stand. I'm going to rotate him around, let you look. I'll be pointing out some stuff as we do it. I'm going to show you all the accessories. I'll show them on the Sith speeder. I'll throw the cloak on them. I'll throw the opposite head on them. But I'm not going to do too many fighting poses because, like, again, it's limitless. But I'll be posting pics up on my Instagram probably over the course of the next days, weeks, whatever. So if you want to see different poses and stuff, just check me out on my Instagram, same handle. And you know, as usual, follow me over there. Follow me here. You want to stay up to date and kind of what I'm doing. And so let's pop this guy on the display stand and spin him around. So here you go, guys. Here's a close-up of the sculpt. Ooh, let's zoom in. So as you can see, that's an incredible paint app, especially for a factory job, mass-produced job. That's pretty nice. Pretty damn nice paint job. So the master paint by JC Hong, I'm sure, was absolutely incredible, and they carried that through pretty damn well, as you can see. And another reason why I'm going to kind of be limited with some of the stuff that I'm doing here, because again, time, pretty much review this figure for hours. I actually still have the Sideshow one. I actually have it up for sale and no one's purchased it yet, so Sideshow is going to probably be maybe a little irritated, but then again, who knows? We'll do the comparison, and there might be some similarities. I actually have it up for pretty cheap. I can't believe it's actually still sitting there. I had it up for like $150. I think I even dropped the price to $125 because I was picking this one up, and it's still sitting there. Maybe folks are waiting till I drop it to $25, or maybe they just think I'm going to give it away for free. But you know, unfortunately for Sideshow, now that I still have it and it's still in my possession, I'm going to do a comparison with both. And we'll go, because I think it's still available on their site too as well for like 200 something bucks. So I'm selling it for literally half price and complete, and it's still sitting there. But I don't know, maybe that just speaks to Sideshow products. I don't know, who knows. But as you can see, man, the sculpt on this is fantastic. It's really great detail. It's going to be interesting to see how it stacks up. So instead of doing kind of articulation on this, I'm actually going to do the comparison of that. I'm going to replace that for that, just because time-wise, what I'm going to have time to do here. So we'll compare those two and kind of see what we can see and what the differences are, if there are many or a few. And that'll be that. But I can tell you right now, the articulation on this is good. You know, you don't really have to do a crazy articulation demonstration on this because the articulation is pretty good. I don't think too many people are going to complain. So let me swap the head sculpt out on this guy so you can look at that as we pan him around instead of looking at this one, because I'm pretty much showing you all you can see with this. I think I'm giving you some pretty damn good looks of it. As far as the sides, we'll show you the back of the sculpt, which is probably going to be the same as the other one, just a different expression. And let's rotate that guy around and go from there. Alright guys, see you on the other side. And before I start rotating this guy around, the one thing I wanted to show you guys too is the head swap, which is going to please a lot of people. because it's actually, you're not gonna have to use a lot of force. And guess why? That's because the heads are magnetized. Oh! So all it is to simply pull off and replace, and boom, you got a completely different figure. I'm liking that. So the magnetic capabilities of the exchange of head sculpts really are beneficial for some figures, you know, depending on what you can do with them, you know, and so on. So I like it too because you get a pretty good dynamic. You know, I know it probably limits the neck a little bit, unfortunately, maybe the detail of it, but I would imagine that the magnetic piece, depending on how, whatever you sculpt the neck to essentially be, I think you could probably hide a magnet in there pretty well. You know, I don't think it has to, just because it's magnetic, does the neck sculpt essentially have to be, the neck cast or whatever you're using has to be a certain shape or whatnot. I think you can pretty much sculpt it however you like, add the details, put the paint app in, and then keep it magnetized like that. And like I said, you barely even see the neck anyway with this figure, so it's kind of wrapped already around, you know, the clothes. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So just wanted to show you that before we start panning this figure around. So let's start rotating him around, and I'll see you on the next cutaway. All right, so here he is as he pans around. I'm telling you, just to swap out of the head, it's like a whole different figure now. Really love that they include a different head sculpt, and it doesn't necessarily always have to be a DX for them to include a different head sculpt. They have done it before. They do it on other figures. Sometimes you get a clean and you get a masked. It's not always a DX. So the tailoring on this is pretty good for the most part. You know, other than a custom job, you're not getting any better than this. And the paint application is very good all the way around the sculpt, from the face to the sides to the back. It's a very good job. And pretty accurate to the film for the most part. Hot Toys does a decent job of kind of paying attention to the detail. The boots on these are definitely a lot more detailed than the one you get with the sideshow version, that's for sure. So that's basically this figure, guys, with the second head. I think most people generally agree the tailoring is pretty good. And it's a very nice expression. Sculpting on the teeth are very good. The detail is good all the way around. Tongue, even the paint app on the tongue. Like I said, man, good stuff. So let's show you another look this time with the cloak. See if we can get that sucker to drape properly, or at least minimally effectively. You know, we shall see. And I'll give you guys one last look at this sculpt again. Sorry for that, out of focus. Excellent job. Look at that work, man. Look at that work on that face. Hot Toys generally doesn't do expressive sculpts very well. At least not often, anyway. They've tried. I mean, we've seen some of the Captain America ones. Ooh, cringeworthy, man. Cringeworthy. But this is pretty good. Alright, guys, let's see what we can do with this cloak and see if we can get a good shot of it draping well. See you on the other side. Okay, so after about 10 or 15 minutes, that's about as much time as I'm willing to spend on messing with this thing. That's about as good as I can get the hood to drape over his head, you know. And as you can see, body-wise too, man, there's just all kinds of problems, dude. I mean, you can try and iron that, but a lot of it's due to the material because it's so light. It's so light and it's not really any weight to it. You know, it just doesn't drape well. And there's some pretty decent customs out there But even in the film itself, I don't remember it even really draping that great as either. There was some kind of fluff to it, but as you can see with this one though, yeah, it's just worse. I mean, some kind of ability to drape would be great. I mean, even having the hood off too, to tell you the truth, you can. I mean, I don't know how some of the bloggers and even the Hot Toys, photographers, the bloggers that they give these videos to, or these figures to, you could tell too, there's no full body shots with him wearing this thing. At least I didn't see any, because this thing just sits absolutely horrible, as you can see on this figure, man. Absolutely friggin' horrible. So it is what it is. Unfortunately, some people are probably not going to use this anyway, but it would have been nice for Hot Toys to kind of do that. I mean, they obviously knew what this figure was going to look like with the hood on, and you'd think they would have been like, hey, let's give them a good cloak this time. But nope, cheap material, light crap. This shit is just ridiculous. And I'll cut away and I'll show you what it looks like with the hood down, and I'll see if maybe I can get it messed around or futzed about into a better sit with it down. But overall, look at it. It just looks like a giant moo-moo. It's just bad, man. But it just doesn't sit well. That part keeps wanting to pop out too. It doesn't really. Maybe if it was wired, that would have been nice. But of course, that maybe would have upped the cost. But it is a DX. You would have hoped that for a DX they would have at least give you a good cloak, man. I don't know. And this is the same thing with Hot Toys when it comes to capes. Everything, a lot of them are just shite. But what are you gonna do? So let me see. I'll give you a look with the hood down too as well. And here you go with the hood down. I tucked it back as much as I could. Like I said, still doesn't look good, man. Like here, I'll even pan back a little bit too. As you can see. If you guys want to mess around with it, devote the time to try and get it, but it's going to take a lot of work. It's just a light material, and then it's not wired at all. If you got some magnets, you could probably get this thing to sit a little bit better, with the hood, and then down here too as well, the flaps. Maybe do some work with the little mini magnets and get things to set where they should, but it's just more work than it's worth, man. You want to invest in a custom one, go for it. Probably run you 150, 200 bucks. To get a custom one done, but if you're going to use it a lot, maybe it's worth it. If you're not, screw it, who cares? Alright, let's move on to the next part of the show. So I guess I lied. I said I wasn't going to do articulation, but why not do a quick demo for you? So let's see. So basically, you're obviously going to get a full 360 around with the head, obviously, because it's magnetized. So I'm not going to bother showing you that. But arms will go up, right there. You're pretty much locked until you get resistance. Okay, waist radial. It's not too bad. You're kind of restricted a little bit, So right there is not really that great. Forward lift. Let's see. Really don't get much either. It's a little bit right there. So I said the articulation was great. Maybe I was wrong. It's a good thing I did this, huh? So yeah, that's really as far up as you get until you can see you're getting resistance, and it's not the close, it's the joint itself, unfortunately. So that's that. And let's see, front. You're gonna get to about right there, I guess. Before you start to get resistance, and here you're gonna go to about right there, I guess, without the legs being bent, but you're not going to go back too far, but I'm sure we can flex. I don't want to break it. So leg is where the articulation is the best, though. You get a pretty good 90-degree lift. Here's articulated too as well, down, up, pops off really easy too, as you can see. Like that, yep. And you just basically push it back in. So I'm gonna do that really quick before it annoys me. Alright, so obviously the other leg's gonna do the same thing. Side, let's see what we get. Right about there, you start to get, resistance. That's really about it, I guess. And these two things right here, these two flaps, if these puff up on you, if you pull that down, you pull this one down, they'll come down more. So there you go. So that way it doesn't look all puffed up. Makes it sit a little bit better as I pull the leg off. But that's about what you get as far as the articulation with this guy. And I guess the next thing we'll do, maybe do accessories, or maybe I'll show you him on the Sith speeder next instead. We shall see. Who knows? All right, so I guess we're doing accessories first, right? So if you guys guessed accessories, and you got it right. So the first thing I want to show you guys, before we start getting it, we'll start basic because this is probably going to take a few minutes to go through some of this shite. So the cool thing with this is that it actually has a purse system, or at least a variation of it anyway. As you can see, hopefully that's coming through okay. And basically all you do is stick these in here, and you can adjust the eye. Make them all crazy if you want. So that's nice that they added that to DX, so I enjoy being able to have that option. It looks crazy as hell right there. But as you can see, you get the idea, right? You gotta paint that, man. That is such an awesome expression. Look at those teeth. Sick. Finally, got an expressive sculpt. Right. Alright, so that's the same for the other sculpt too as well. You can adjust that one. So if you're wondering, you can also do that. The also comes with, now if I can find it, what the hell did I do with it? That's actually a good question. The Sith probe droid. Yeah. I don't know what I did with it. Oh, I found it. Fear not. So this is the Sith probe droid. Easy to install. Basically just take the this plastic stand that comes with it, insert it here into the bottom, and then the antenna also inserts here, and then you also get a little base for it as well, which you just put in there, and that's it. And you stand them up. Pretty decent, awesome detail on this too as well. It's a lot of stuff, man. If you're displaying this in a detail, you're gonna have a lot of stuff to put next to this guy. If you're gonna have him on the Sith speeder, that's gonna take up enough room itself, but it's gonna look sick though. So that's the Sith droid. That's how you put that together essentially. I already showed you guys technically this stuff already. You get the fanned out saber blades. And you get his double-sided saber. So this actually comes apart, as you can see, just like that. And then what you want to do is take this piece, if I can get it the hell out. Let's see here. Oh, wrong side, wrong one. So then you want to take this one, it'll come in focus, and stick this piece in here, just like that. And then you can take this and put it in like so. Whoops. Like so, that side. And there you go. And you got his regular saber. As you can see, detail on this is pretty nice. Pretty nice. And then if you essentially want to go back to what you had before. All you got to do is pull that back off, pull that off. If I can get it out now. Reinsert this. God, I'm an ass. I'm just not paying attention what the hell I'm doing. Looking through the camera instead of looking what the frig I'm doing there. There you go, and you just put it back just like that. Easy peasy, right? And you're obviously going to get you got the two. You're going to get two of these, two as well. You're going to get two, obviously, for the double-sided saber. You get the binoculars, two as well. Excellent detail on these. Excellent paint application. It actually, looks like metal. Pretty darn good. And you actually get two battery powered arms, as you can see. One with the double saber, and then you get the other one, just a single saber. And same mechanism for replacing the batteries. You get some batteries that also come with it as well. You just unscrew that and put the batteries in, and you're good to go. And you're also going to get a bunch of open and closed hands. I'm not going to take them all out. They're already in here, so let's just show them to you that way. And you also get the extra cuff. When he's holding the binoculars in the film, that has that metal cuff around it. So you can exchange that out. And you get some extra pegs too as well, as you can see. And this cuff specifically actually comes apart. I don't think the other ones do. And I forget what the significance of this one is, and why this actually comes apart, but drawing a blank right now. And of course, the ultimate accessory, you got the exclusive, is going to be the Sith speeder. So this is the base you're going to get. So if you want to do the Sith speeder, you're going to want to keep this on, or if you're going to have them use the regular stand, you're going to use this. There you go. And you basically just put that on there. You also get this plastic piece here too. What you're going to do is stick that in there like so, and then you insert the Sith speeder on there, and this is it. The detail on this thing is killer. Get the computer touch screen, which I'm assuming is probably some kind of sticker or something like that. But as you can see, got some battle worn, not battle damage, but some wear, we'll say. Pedals. Yeah, it's gonna look, and I'll show you guys a look with this next, with him on this thing. But as you can see, pretty damn good detail on this thing, man. I like the weathering they added to it. And like I said, just insert this thing, so spin that around, get that sand look. And I'm just going to insert it like that. I can actually get it in. Huh. That's interesting. It actually doesn't rest in very well. I don't know if it's supposed to be leaning over like that. You guys can see because I have my camera propped up, but I'll show you guys what I mean. But let me space it out a little bit. But as you can see, this is like kind of wobbly, you know? So let's see if we can figure this out live on camera. Well, not live, but I'm sure you get what I mean. Maybe I have it, maybe the other side. I mean, I highly doubt why that would make a difference. But no, it's just wobbly. That's kind of bullshit. I mean, and I'm assuming the middle part is going to obviously be for that. And it's wobbly in there too, but that's not the space for this anyway. It's for the regular, for the wire stand, for the metal posing stand, the dynamic one. And this obviously is supposed to go in here. And there's actually, looks like thread in there, as if something can also screw in, but as you can see, there's no thread on this to be able to screw it in tighter. Maybe I'm missing an accessory, who knows? Maybe that's what the problem is. But I'll show you the look with him on there, and I'll see if I'm missing something as far as screwing this in, so it'll be a little bit more stable. And if I find it, I'll let you know. If not, then shame on you, Hot Toys. But we'll see. I'll see if I'm missing something. See you on the other side. Oh, and one last thing, the Darth Maul hologram accessory. I almost forgot to show you guys that. That also comes with the exclusive edition too as well. You get the Darth Maul hologram. Details alright. I don't really know how I would utilize this just yet, but yeah, you do get it, so pretty neat. Alright, let's move on to the next part of the show. Alright, so there you guys go. That's him on the Sith speeder. And no, the peg did not fit. There was no other attachment to make it tighter. I'm starting to wonder if it's in there like that so you can actually tilt it to the side. So it can tilt back forward and kind of make it look like, you know, he's turning, you know, from the side or something like that. I'm almost wondering if that's the reason. So as you can see, you know, tilt forward. And I could tilt it to the side a little bit to make it look more like he's, you know, turning, I guess, per se. But I think that might be why. I mean, I could be wrong. But you never know. Wouldn't be the first time that I'm wrong. But he does look totally friggin' badass on this thing. You know, for sure. It's definitely how I'm probably going to display him. So he's going to have his own detail just with him on this thing. Be careful with the pedals. They feel fragile. And the handles as well. Something that might snap off. You know, so just be careful with that. But this thing's killer though, man. It's definitely the way I'm going to pose them. And when I do the side-by-side comparison with the Sideshow one next, and then that's when I'm going to close out too as well. I'm going to probably just leave him on this just because it was a little bit of a pain in the ass to get him, well, you know what, nah, I won't. I'll put him side by side because I wanted to take pictures of him like this directly after, but for you guys, I'll have the figure side by side. I'm just being lazy, but this thing looks great. So let me show you with the other head too on this thing, just to give you that dynamic. And here he is with the other head on. He's like, oh yeah! Like, get it in! Get it, man, get it! But anyway, yeah, like you see this, you can get different dynamic with this, you know, put a saber in his hand or something like that. I tilted it over a little bit to the other side this time, you know, just to make it look a little bit different. And I'm sure you can get all kinds of ideas by looking at this, you know, have the saber in the one hand, you know, the binoculars, whatever you want to do, and you can use your imagination with this thing. But it is awesome, dude. So if you guys, I would definitely suggest getting the DX. I think it's like $400 and something though, man. So it's worth it though. I mean, if you're gonna spend it, If you're gonna get this thing, you're gonna spend 300 something anyway. Spend a little bit more, and just grab the DX. This is it's killer, man. But for a DX set, I would have liked a better cloak. You know, they really cheaped out there. All right, so that's the final look here I'm gonna give you, but I'm gonna show this and the sideshow version side by side next, and see what we see as far as differences. It should be fun. But the sideshow figure is actually pretty good. But I love this thing though, man. This speeder is sick. Look at that guy, man. Yeah! I'm an ass, I know. But that's sweet though, man. Alright guys, let's throw these two side by side. Let's see what we can see. Alright guys, so here they are, side by side, the Sideshow one and the Hot Toys one. And honestly guys, man, I think I'm actually going to give the Sideshow one the leg up here a little bit. As far as in the paint application, the stature of the body, the leanness of it. I mean, the Hot Toys one's a little bit bigger, a little buffer. The details in the boots are different too as well, as you can see. The Hot Toys one has a little more, you know, as far as the casting and some of the detail in the creases. And the Sideshow one still isn't bad though. But honestly, and the expressions, you know, I think the sculpts are both good. This one might be a little bigger, maybe wider. But this one, as far as paint application, I think is more accurate to the film, to tell you the truth. And this, I mean, this one may be accurate too, maybe from some of the more darker scenes of the film. I mean, with my customs too, I like interpretations, and you know, I like characters to change maybe a little bit. I don't mind seeing Darth Maul as a little bit beefier, you know, more muscular. Makes him look meaner. And you know, this one, his brows are more arched. So I think the look is, you know, for this one is more relaxed when compared to this one, even though they are both kind of menacing. But honestly, the Sideshow one has a leg up, you know, somewhat, to tell you the truth. That's interesting. So you know what? Because of that, you know, I assumed this one was kind of going to knock it out of the park, but now that I have them side by side, you know, I'm upping the price of this figure back up, the Sideshow one. I had it at 150, I dropped it to 125. Honestly, I think I'm going to put it back up to 180. Maybe even 190. I think it's worth at least that still, to tell you the truth. I thought it was the DX was going to blow the Hot Toys one out of the water. I mean, the Sideshow one out of the water. And honestly, it didn't. It's interesting. Very interesting. Sorry, I'm jumping the camera around there a little bit. That is interesting for sure. So those of you guys who's going to try and grab the Sideshow one from me for 125, don't bother asking now or offering. I'm going to bump it right back up to 180, because honestly, the Sideshow one, I think, has a leg up somewhat. Interesting. I did not expect that. Interesting for sure. But both are great, don't get me wrong. I mean, the DX from Hot Toys is mean, man. Both are gems to own, but I'm definitely raising the price of the Sideshow one back up, because you know, again, I looking at it and referencing some pics, the paint application on this is more accurate, to tell you the truth, to some of the film, from what I've seen anyway. So my camera is turning sideways for some reason. Let's fix that. There we go. But alright guys, that's pretty much it. So let me know your thoughts too as well on these figures. What do you think? If you agree too as well that the Sideshow one might actually be a little bit more accurate as far as leanness, neck. The neck is even longer more on this one. I don't know if that's due more to the fabric on this one, or if it's just shorter, stockier build of the body. Could be the body, honestly. But so like, subscribe guys, you know, check me out on Instagram, same handle. I'll have my pics up over there too as well. And like I said, like, subscribe to my channel as well. Share the video if you like it. Like it if you like it. And I don't know what the next review is going to be. We'll see. Might be Captain Marvel, or maybe something else. Who knows? Well, like I said, man, blown away actually, looking at these two, because I think the Sideshow one is actually a little more accurate. A little more accurate. That is interesting. So, alright, folks. Anything else? I don't think I forgot anything else. The DX, I think, is like 406, somewhere around there. A little over 400 bucks. And the Sideshow one you can actually purchase from their website for probably about $224, I think it is. And I'm probably going to sell mine for $150. Still, I'm raising the price back up. Like I said, as I thought the DX was going to blow this one away, but to tell you the truth, it's tad better. Alright guys, that's it. Deuces.